Returning to the Crypto Q media channel brings us joy. Attention, everyone. In a comment on this XRP winning post, John Dean did provide the horrifying link between the CBDC Sandbank and Men Freed. The interviewee in this case was Whitney Webb. It's horrifying. She says it here, and John Dean said it too. This is the corruption era. After visiting a modest bank in rural America, how can the most infamous fraudster since Bernie Madoff, who created an offshore exchange, gain access to the Federal Reserve banking system? But a master account was not extended to Caitlin Long, the American entrepreneur and founder of Custodia Bank in Wyoming, who had instituted a 100% reserve policy to protect the wealth of depositors. It is difficult to understand, I agree. FTX invested $11.5 million in the parent company of Farmington State Bank, despite the fact that the bank had just one branch and 3 employees. The bank's net worth was $5.7 million. In other words, the investment was twice the size of the bank's net worth, according to SBS. Contrarily, Elizabeth Warren cannot stop bringing up the subject of Bitcoin laundering. During the SPF trial, it was made public that he had donated $10 million to the government. It appears he changed his behavior in order to appease the authorities in charge of overseeing his activities. What in the world is happening? Among the many admirers of SPF's work were Maxine Waters and others in Congress, as well as Gary Gensler on 2 separate occasions, the CFTC, and the U.S. Treasury. Despite the fact that she ought to be, Elizabeth Warren is avoiding the topic. The description will once again have a link to this. Anticipating viewing it, John Dean, I appreciate you pointing out that we are in a different era. The BRICS nations are aware of this, and Whitney Webb is a great resource for information. As a kind of rejection of the previous system, they are also starting to establish their own financial system. You know, blockchain technology is making this process much easier over time. The corruption era, though, will be the official record of this. I don't know how many of you are aware with the history of turning events, but we are presently in what is believed to be the 4th turning. For those unfamiliar with the word, I suggest searching it up on Google or another website and viewing films that explain the concept of cycles, which recur approximately every 80 years. After all, this is hardly shocking to me in light of the corruption age. While mentioning that the liquidity center did not materialize, Brad Garland divulged some interesting details regarding the imminent banking system collapse and the wrath of Khan during the APEC summit. As a result, we focused on other domains. The original context of all their efforts on the liquidity hub is no longer being supplied, as this comment from Brad Garland House makes quite clear. It seems like Ripple has given up on their liquidity hub, likely in favor of alternative ways to spend the money. Naturally, Ripple is still performing admirably. This is probably due, in part, to their prediction that numerous financial institutions will opt for stable coins. Developing a stable Ripple coin should take precedence over the liquidity hub, maybe. As a result, they are presently concentrating on it, and it will be released later this year. Incidentally, I have some fascinating knowledge to share with you all today, and it is derived from the wrath of Khan. Now that we have that settled, let's discuss David Schwartz's summit slides. The title of the blog presentation and the slides were utilized to give the information in his morning speech. In this case, security, compliance, custody, and wallets constitute the ecosystem, as pointed out by David Schwartz. Additionally, there are divisions for games, analytics, infrastructure, the metaverse, and marketplaces. As our WA and loan officer, Dex will be in charge. Multiple additional groups: foundational ledgers, interoperability, and educational initiatives, e.g., Ripple x Solarflare, Quorium, etc. The transaction involving stable coins, like those from Nevada 2, Bitstamp, Ripple, or Stably, comes next. This massive ecosystem is growing at a rate that you people have no clue of. Here you may get the most recent data about the financial markets and assets on chain, along with a consistent market cap for coins of $160 billion. By 2028, it's expected to reach $2.8 trillion. Ripple is probably putting so much focus on stable coins right now since they are a key entry point for DeFi. Tokenization would have a profound impact on digital assets, according to 97% of institutional investors. With tokenized assets valued at $1.5 billion, according to a B and White Melon study. The United States Treasury is now in possession of that. Tokenized assets will be worth $16 trillion by 2030, according to analysts. Among the many interesting statistics shown here is the fact that the blockchain most often suggested by institutions for use in describing tangible assets is you are aware that the tokenization of tangible assets is significant. Here, he raises several valid arguments. And for all that, the blockchain's underlying infrastructure will be second to none. I'll give you the rundown, but if you want to see everything unfold live on the XRPL mainnet, I'll provide a link in the description. Quickly evolving XRP ledger features, automated market makers, decentralized identities, lending protocols, aggregated liquidity, super decentralized exchange, and enhanced capital efficiency and usability are all on display. Also, Oracle's multifunctional tokens and EVM sidechains are available. Thus, the loan protocol, order books, AMM, which was upgraded earlier this year, and liquidity pools are presently the focal points of Ripple's efforts to improve. That worked really well for us. In terms of compatibility, XRPlace has all the makings of a central trading platform for the blockchain ecosystem. Financial assets that have been tokenized, stable coins, digital currencies, crypto-native tokens, and other real-world assets will be included in the XRP ledger, according to David Schwartz. Also, right now, in Amsterdam, there is a presentation on XRPL Apex. The fact that the XRP ledger is receiving more and more attention is fantastic news, since it bodes well for the inevitable increase in cryptocurrency usage. Most importantly, though, demand for XRP will increase as its potential uses grow. The information you have just read is all part of the strategy. It has been slowly pouring in, as you might have seen. Also, the current volume isn't high enough to warrant a price increase. The number of tokenized assets in circulation is projected to reach 16 trillion by 2030. Things will get fascinating, though, if we can all agree on a common goal and witness significant consolidation. For example, some companies may be working on XRPlace solutions, while others are relying on theories and virtual machines. That is why it is critical for different networks to be able to communicate with one another. That is why the XRPlace needs to have a plan to join in on that kind of thing. Recent developments from the APEC meeting have once again delivered us excellent news, thanks to Conman's fury. For Chad Steingraber's information, Ripple was the pioneer in the blockchain industry to partner with MasterCard to issue biometric cards for global stablecoin and CBDC transactions. Plus, there are all these other affiliates of Ripple. I may have brought up the fact that the Ripple network incorporates MasterCard and Visa in a previous video. A few months ago, someone made the case that domestic CBDCs learning by doing are crucial to the expansion of the digital dollar. So, to make the most of this, they are thinking about using MasterCard's biometric credit cards. If this paper is to be believed, RippleNet will be the provider of such worldwide technology. By the way, this story also includes this screenshot. Partners in the first group, Ripple, will come from the United States, Australia, Brazil, Hong Kong, and England, and will include CBDC pilots and stable coin issuance. In addition, the Ripple stable coin, RLUSD, is about to be released and will likewise shake things up in the market. Chad Steingraber, you have my deepest gratitude for disclosing that. Do not be bewildered. Ripple is not alone in stating this. This is a point that is being made by other authorities in the industry as well. Crypto assets are finally interacting, thanks to Mr. TradFi. Notable forthcoming stable coins are Ripple and LUSD, among many more. The investment firm BlackRock has joined the Space Standard Custody alongside Zodiac. Affiliates of Ripple and PayPal, correspondingly. That is the end of the video. It would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe and like my channel. Thank you so much, leave.